It's Project Cargo Professionals. We're in Kuala Lumpur for the Heavy Lift Group conference, and I'm with Emre, long-standing member, an ex-com member of the Heavy Lift Group, if I remember correctly.
Yes, correct. We have been members as Kita Logistics since 2003. We were young, very young then. Well, still young.
Still
at
young.
heart.
At least you feel it.
Exactly. So yeah, it's been quite a long time that we're with the Heavy Lift Group, and it's great to be together with the champions of the Project Cargo business. So we are developing business. We've had at least 4 or 5 projects that we have done with 2 other members. So it's a 3-member project. So from that point of view, I'm very happy to be a part of this group.
Absolutely. Emre, fill us in on what's going on in Turkey. From what I read recently, I know you've had a lot of inflation, currency devaluation. What's the Project Cargo market like in Turkey, and what effect has that been having?
Good point. Turkish lira is very strong. This means US dollars and euros, it's very weak. So when you come to Turkey, you're going to experience that it's not very cheap anymore.
I saw, even to go on holiday to Turkey, the Turkish holidays are now more expensive.
Now, this year is going to be difficult for the tourism industry, but that not only affects the tourism industry, but also the exports. Because our expenditures are in Turkish liras, which is very strong, and keeps labor costs very high. But the income is going to be in terms of US dollars or euros, especially if you're exporting to the United States or Europe or European Union. Yeah. That puts our exporters in a difficult situation. This in turn means for Project Cargo that there's going to be less factories being built, especially for export purposes. That actually has a negative impact on the incoming Project Cargo. It's slowed down in the last couple of years, but I don't think this is going to last forever. I'm expecting by mid-2026 the exchange rates will stabilize. So after that, I'm expecting more. But we are still a huge exporter in terms of transformers, machinery, for example, CNC machines, transformers. 4 or 5 largest transformer manufacturers are in Turkey. There's a lot going out as exports of heavy cargo. What I see nowadays is solar power.
Okay.
This is becoming a big thing in Turkey. There's a lot of solar power panels, a lot of solar power related cargo coming into Turkey, especially from the Far East. I see that.
Which are not super heavy, but they do need special handling.
I would still consider them as projects, because if you're moving, let's say, 500 containers in, let's say, several lots, that's still considered as a project as far as I'm concerned. That doesn't necessarily have to be huge, but would require significant coordination. So.
Mm-hmm. And there is also a lot of investment going on in infrastructure, isn't it? So that must be driving Project Cargo too.
Right. Yeah. Nowadays, the municipalities are still pushing for subway systems, metro systems, railway cars, tramways are moving in. Airport infrastructure has been finished now, has been completed. We have some significant airports now. We have the largest airport in Europe by far. So that kind of infrastructure development has been completed, but public transportation is still going on. We still have the deficit for power, and there will always be need for additional power supplies, whether it's going to be solar or wind, for example. But I would expect that to continue in the coming years for sure.
And tell us a bit about your expansion outside Turkey.
Yeah, we have offices in 4 other countries. We have focused on the CIS. We have a large operation in Kazakhstan, and our Kazakhstan office is handling quite a bit of railway infrastructure projects. We are moving locomotives from GE from the US, for example, currently as we speak. We are moving electrification projects for the railroads in Kazakhstan. That's also a fairly large operation. We are moving axles for railroad cars. We have another office in Uzbekistan. I see huge potential there because of the population, because of the hinterland. I think that there's going to be major development in terms of project cargo in Uzbekistan. And we have recently opened our office in Georgia. So now we are handling our own transit cargoes going into the CIS via POTI with our own people. And I see there's more and more business going via POTI into the CIS. So I see their economic development in the CIS coming up.
What's the competition like in those markets?
It's tough. It's tough as always, but I come from Turkey. I come from a market where the competition is tough. Yeah, we're trying to be. But the good thing is that we speak the same language. We speak in Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, they speak different dialects of Turkish.
Right.
So that does create an advantage, not only culturally, but also from a linguistic point of view. So that's great. We feel at home when we are working in those countries.
Yeah.
Georgia is different.
Okay.
For sure. But it's a transit country for us, and it's a great gateway between the East and the West. So we're moving quite a bit of cargo from Europe into the CIS via POTI right now, also by trucks.
And you mentioned to me earlier about Syria, which we haven't spoken about yet on the podcast, which could be another source of work for project cargo. Tell us a bit about that.
Absolutely. As our project cargo team in Turkey has very close relationships with international contracting companies, Turkish international contracting companies, which are really competitive. They have been involved in hundreds of projects in Africa, in the Middle East, in the former Soviet Union countries, let me put it that way, specifically Russia being the main market. And I see a great potential for Syria because it's right next door. Yep. From a logistics point of view, as you know, Syria is in desperate need for any type of infrastructure development. Once it's been financed, once the finances are taken care of, I think that the international contracting companies, the Turks, are also going to be very active in Syria with all kinds of projects. It could be transportation, it could be power, it could be anything, because the whole country needs development in many different aspects of project cargo, I would say.
Has the rebuilding started yet to any great extent?
Not really. The government just was established recently. The good thing is that the country opened up. For example, the Turkish trucks are now moving from Turkey via Syria into the Middle East, which was not possible until, let's say, 4 or 5 months ago. So we see progress there.
So Syria is one to watch?
I hope so, yeah, I think so. I'm watching very closely, yes, for sure.
And just to finish, give us your outlook for 2026, maybe something you're excited about and maybe something you're concerned about as it relates to project cargo.
Well, in terms of, there's a lot of political turmoil, as you know, in the world. And 2026, what is it going to bring in terms of project cargo? Very difficult to say. But a peace between Ukraine and Russia would help big time. That would open up additional markets for us, because right now we're not really doing any project in Russia. Yeah. I would hope that Iran would become a part of, would integrate with the rest of the world, and that would create, in fact, much cheaper, much faster corridors for us between the East and the West. For example, if we're moving cargo from Turkey to the CIS, let's say Kazakhstan, we are avoiding Iran completely. We're not using the Iranian routes. Yeah. If it's a part of the whole world economy and the bans are not there anymore, then I see a significant improvement for cargo movements. Imagine cargo coming from all over the world into, let's say, Mersin port, and then from Mersin in transit going into the CIS, going through Iran. That is going to be very fast. So I'm hoping some of these hurdles like those would be taken care of by 2026. I see power is always going to be on our agenda, power supply. So there's going to be new power plants being built. Power storage is going to be another issue, which the countries will need to deal with. So I think infrastructure development and power production are going to be on the top 2 lines on our agenda next year.
Well, thanks very much for your time, Emre. Good to see you.
Thank you, Luke. Thank you.
Thank you. It's Project Cargo Professionals. We're here in not so sunny Kuala Lumpur for the Heavy Lift Group conference, and I'm with Marianne from Hacklin Logistics. How are you, Marianne?
I'm very well, thank you.
Marianne, I was interested to talk to you because I know you've had a little bit of a restructuring of your business because Russia was a big market for you before. Tell us about that and what the impact of the war was and the restructuring you've had to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as we all know, something big happened in 2022 when Putin entered Ukraine and the war started. And obviously, we had to stop doing the business with Russia overnight. There were some signs in the air that this gonna happen, but we never believed that's gonna happen. Our business to Russia was about 25% of our turnover, so it was really a big deal. And due to the sanctions, of course, we had to stop immediately. So the day the war started, we started to prepare a strategy how to move forward because we didn't want to lose the talents that had worked for Project Cargo to Russia in the past 15 years. We had like over 50 projects to Russia on a regular basis by railway. So the people that handle the Russian business were mostly like engaged in railway transport. So that was also kind of a, let's say, issue for us, because if you want to train the people, you need to train them to do ocean freight, air freight, and so on. But these were young, talented people. Most of them were born in Russia, so they were native Russian-speaking people, but also kind of very international persons. So that helped a lot. They were fluent in English and they adopted quickly because they were also motivated. So in less than 1 year, we had these people working in business development, in operations, taking care of projects to, let's say, the Western world and to Southeast Asia, China, and so on. So in fact, although we lost 25% of the Russian business, we could gain more business from elsewhere. So our operation was actually growing after.
So what did you replace that business with?
Actually, we had to completely stop that business. Mm-hmm. So eventually, the managing director of our St. Petersburg office purchased Hackley in St. Petersburg from our owners. So he's now taking care of that business. And
what new business did you replace that with? Because you're not trading with Russia anymore, so you had to go into new areas?
Actually, at the same time, or a little bit after this happened, our biggest customer, who is exporting paper and pulp machinery, got some orders many orders to Indonesia. So we made 5 big projects in Indonesia immediately after that. And then Brazil also, at the same time, Brazil started to boom. Okay. And we came into that market through, let's say, a very good partner that had like container business from China and Europe to Brazil, but we added value by being also experts in break bulk. So we could say that we replaced Russia with new projects to Brazil and Indonesia. And now we can call ourselves experts in these areas. So I'm extremely happy that we could do it like this. And actually, we are now a much bigger company than we were before the war started.
And give us a bit of a history of the company, because it's a very old company, isn't it?
Hacklin was established in 1908 by 2 brothers called Otto and Emil Hacklin. And the company was started in Pori on the west coast of Finland. You might know where Pori is. And they started with port operation and trading of sawn woods to Europe, mainly to Germany. So we operated also feeder vessels for many years, but that is also now gone. So the company is still a family-owned company. I'm not part of the family, but they are still into logistics, but in another way. So now Hackling Logistics is the, let's say, biggest entity of the group.
Of the Hackling Group,
of Hackling Group. So we have a sister company in Hamina who's doing mostly warehousing business. And then we have another sister company in Kotka who's doing bulk operations in the port.
Okay. And you were telling me about a big project that you've had, the biomass project?
Exactly, yes. So now we are also very happy because we could close a very big project to Brazil in April. It consists of 3,000 plus containers from both Europe, China, India, and several other countries, plus 200,000 freight tons of break bulk cargo. So this cargo is going to Paranagua in Brazil, and the customer is Arauco, but our customer is Valmet Pulp and Energy in Finland. So we were assigned this project from one of our biggest customer, Valmet, and the reason Valmet chose was probably because we have all, let's say, the critical things that you need to do a big project. We have the staff who are like, let's say, they have the experience to work with this staff. Then we have an own office in China. Okay, I forgot to mention that Hackling also owns an office in Shanghai. So we have an operational office there. So they also know the capabilities of our people in China, plus this great partner we have in Brazil with the big volumes of containers per year. So their purchasing power is really also something extraordinary. So I think we had the whole palette that the customer needs from a freight forwarder. Yeah. And apart from that, we also had a point about talking about the sustainability in this conference. So we also have a system where we, from offering the project, we report the upcoming emissions, and then during the project we can get from our IT system all the countings of emissions, so we can report that to customer in real time also, so they can follow their emissions.
Okay. Talk to us about the domestic market in Finland. I imagine it's a smallish market for project cargo, but what sort of heavy industry have you got in Finland?
Well, I would say traditionally the pulp and paper industries, it's of course huge, but then you probably also know that we have a big marine business. So we have several ship wharves in Finland, and lately you also saw in the news that America is purchasing the icebreakers from Finland. So it's really a big business for us. And then of course, like Wärtsilä doing the marine engines for ships. Mining is big, traditionally a very big industry. We used to have, or have still, a few mines up in the north, but due to that, the mining equipment industry has developed during the decades in Finland very heavily. So those could be maybe also including metal industries is traditionally big, and now also the renewable is heavily coming. So Finland, although it's the population is only 5.9 million people, but you can see that most of the big players have own offices in Finland, like the big global project freight forwarders, also Danish and German companies are our competitors. So
you've got plenty of competition.
Yeah, we have to stay very sharp.
And how do you see Finland developing in the next few years? Are you optimistic about project cargo in Finland?
I would say yes. We are technology oriented people, so we have a good education base. We hope the next generation will really also be interested in the heavy industry. I'm optimistic about that, but then there are a few other things I'm not so optimistic about, because we need to have more people immigrating to Finland, and how to handle those kind of political things. They are, of course, it's another interview probably.
That's a common story in Europe, right? All
Yes,
over Europe.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
And we're here for the Heavy Lift Group. I know you've been an ex-com member. You've been involved in the group for a long time. Tell us why that's been so important to you and what you've got out of THLG for all these years.
Well, for a mid-sized project freight forwarder without a proper network globally, you need to find the right partners. So you either choose to establish small offices around the globe, but we decide to go the other way. We decide to spend a lot of time searching for good networks to belong to find the right team. We belong to a few networks, but THLG has become a network close to my heart because of its size. It's manageable. You know personally all the members. We all share the same attitude. We want to work with each other. We share the same values. We want to succeed. So yeah, it has been natural for us to develop business with these guys. We meet them twice a year at least. They are nowadays our friends, and you can always rely on their help when you get a business.
And there are worse places to go.
Yeah.
Give us your outlook for next year. Maybe something that you're excited about in terms of Project Cargo and something you're concerned about.
Well, I'm excited to continue with the big projects we have already closed. So the outlook for next year for Hägglunds Logistics looks quite good. I'm a little bit concerned, of course, about the possibility to find suitable persons, because when you do more, you need more staff, you need to train them. I'm also a little bit concerned about people coping with the rhythm, doing business internationally. You're required to work late, you're required to come early, you have a lot of job, you work sometimes during weekends, and that is something that we don't want to support, but we have to do it. So I want people to feel like the company is supporting them in this equation, that how to find a balance between work life and the private life. It's really important in this business.
We all need to find that.
Yeah.
Marianne, thanks very much.
Thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
We're in Kuala Lumpur for the Heavy Lift Group conference, and I'm here with the karaoke champion, Grant from NMT Projects Australia. Good to see you, Grant.
Likewise, Luke. How you going?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Pretty excited to be here for the autumn conference for the Heavy Lift Group.
Enjoying it so far?
It has been. Jamie and I got up here on Sunday night, and yeah, we had the opening last night. So yeah, a lot of fun.
So it's the first time we've spoken to Australian forwarder on the podcast. So tell us a bit about the project cargo market in Australia and what's that like at the moment.
Yeah, look, NMT are in Perth. We're probably naturally blessed with a lot of project cargo, heavily reliant on mining and oil and gas, and with the expanse that is the northwest. We're pretty blessed with some big projects that we get to, big projects and big cargo that we get to play with day in, day out.
But the market's good at the moment?
Yeah, it's not too bad. We're seeing the pipeline for 26 and beyond increasing again for us. So yeah, we're pretty bullish on what that looks like.
And tell us a bit about NMT, in case people don't know. I know that you've got offices in Europe. Talk a bit about your structure and how the company's set up.
Yeah, sure. NMT's been around for quite a long time. Elko Boersma, our chairman, started the company back in the 70s under a different name, and it's had a couple of iterations along the way. But yeah, 25 years in Rotterdam as NMT Projects, They expanded 21 years ago into the USA, 20 years ago into Australia, and then the Australian operations sort of grew with satellite offices in China and Thailand, and now we've got a guy up in Vietnam, all's looking pretty good.
So in Australia, you're just in Perth, or?
Just in Perth right now. We do have some plans to go into the East Coast, where or particularly Brisbane, where we've had some good success over a long time delivering some major projects in that region. We've got a girl based in Brisbane already, and we're looking to expand on that over the coming year, I guess.
Good to hear. And on the West Coast, where you are now in Perth, what's the capacity like in terms of access to all the heavy kit that you need, whether it's trailers or cranes, facilities at the ports? Have you got everything you need for heavy lift projects in Western Australia, or are there gaps?
Yeah, given the expanse, the size of the country, or the size of the state rather, we do have some really good transport corridors which help, facilitate the movement of very big modularized project cargoes. The ports are mostly set up to handle these cargoes. One of the constraints we probably see is around driver availability. There's a bit of a stretch there, but otherwise, all's pretty good.
And you touched on mining briefly. Your colleague did a great job earlier telling us about one of the projects that you did during COVID for Rio Tinto. Yeah. Tell us about that and some of the challenges that you had during that time.
It was an interesting one for sure. The award came through just as COVID was sort of kicking into gear. So all the best plans we had and best intentions were sort of thrown out the window. And we had to really improvise to deliver the project successfully. Border controls, very, very strict border controls. The team led by Jamie, created a whole COVID management system to help mitigate the 14-day wait that vessels were sort of forced into upon arriving into Australia, saving countless millions of dollars in detention alone, let alone scheduled delays on site and whatnot.
So you were bringing this cargo in from Thailand?
Yep. These process modules were built or fabricated in Thailand. They were sent down to Australia in part charters, full charters. There was some air freight as well, and they were all delivered to site in a just-in-time sort of delivery method. One of the quirks of the project was the fear around COVID transmitting through contact with the steel structures themselves. We were high pressure washing the modules as they were coming off the boat essentially, and then they were going down the road to site, getting dirty anyway. But there was no COVID on them, thankfully.
That was what you called the world's most expensive car wash, right?
Yeah, Jamie coined that phrase, and it's true to this day.
Glad that those days are behind you.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we hear a lot in other parts of the world, in North America and in Asia, that there's a lot of project cargo generated from data centers, AI, tech build-outs. Are you seeing that in Australia yet or not?
Look, AI is, I think, becoming more and more prevalent, in our day-to-day lives, especially, in the transport field. Scheduling, even building tenders. I think you're seeing it more and more every day, so absolutely.
But are the project forwarding community getting business from those facilities that are being built? Are you building big data centers and stuff in Australia?
Certainly are.
Yeah.
It's driving a lot of the boom in sort of the battery or the BESS systems.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's one of the growing sort of industries that we're growing markets that we're seeing for project cargo for sure. These batteries.
And just to finish off, in the next sort of 3 to 5 years, what other sectors are you particularly excited about, or do you think will drive project cargo business in Australia?
NMT primarily do a lot of mining work. but certainly the renewable space, it's definitely an area we see great potential. And oil and gas, I think, will always be there. So yeah, they're definitely three markets that we're certainly happy with.
And if somebody wants to move into or expand or do business in Australia, what advice would you give them about your local market?
Find the right partner. Australian biosecurity alone will cause nothing but headaches. So yeah, the restrictions there. It's not like doing business, in a lot of other countries. So find the right partner and plan.
Dot the I's and cross the T's.
Exactly. Yep.
Grant, thanks very much.
No worries. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate it.